Stories stir the soul,
Stories reveal.
and stories heal.
In this podcast, we will give you an inside look at someone who's had a life-changing breakthrough.
Real people, real stories with real breakthroughs. As a health and wellness expert and coach, and Todd as a men's mentor,
We've seen firsthand what God can do when it comes to a breakthrough. So lean in, listen well. This could be your biggest breakthrough.
hello and welcome to Your Biggest Breakthrough. I'm your host, Wendy Pett.
I am also your host, and I'm Todd Isberner.
It's been a while.
I'm your co-host.
We are
We're
co-hosts.
duo hosts.
Duo.
Yeah. Hey, how are you doing?
Doing great.
It's
How
been a little
about you?
while since we've done this, so I just didn't know if
Yes.
you're feeling a little bit out of practice or you're good.
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah, you're a natural talker, so I think we're going to be just fine on
Well,
this.
I have my other podcast that's happening.
You know the name of, well, that's
Visibly
true.
Fit,
You're
so-
very, very busy, which is part of what we're going to talk about.
Yes, we are.
Busyness in life.
How are you, the listener, doing?
Yeah,
We've missed you, actually.
we have. And we're going to find out a few things, I think, in common today that are going to really help us. But before we
Wait.
get there,
What if we're
Yeah.
the only ones and
no,
there's no commonality?
No, I promise you. I promise you, every single
misery
one of
loves company.
our
Come on.
listeners are going to identify with what we're going to talk about in terms of being stuck.
Ah,
And you have a great
Stuck.
analogy for that, because I didn't realize I was living with like a martial artist until you told me about the story of breaking through a
yeah,
bunch of boards.
yeah. You mean that one moment that I was a martial
I
artist?
don't care. You still broke through, didn't you?
I did,
you
and
do?
it felt so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was at an event years ago, and the speaker, who is a coach, he said something to me, and it got me thinking about my situation differently, and it triggered me in a certain way that I emotionally was able to stand up and see beyond what I was stuck in that moment, see
Yeah.
beyond the board, and
So you were
literally.
going to break boards.
Yeah, there was
Okay.
two boards.
Okay.
I've never done any of that ever
Yeah.
in my life.
Right.
And I got up there and just went bam.
you just broke through just by
broke
going
through.
bam.
Well, no, but
You
I mean,
took your hand and went
I
through. I
just,
see.
yeah,
Okay,
my
good.
hand. They can't see me if you're listening. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and I broke through both boards, and it felt so good. And I
Wow.
remember
Hmm.
when I was in that state of
Mhm.
being,
Yeah.
I was so ready to
Mm.
get unstuck. I was so sick and tired of that
Yes.
that place I was
Yes,
in,
Exactly.
that I was really taught, and the speaker was teaching me how to see beyond the stuck place,
Mhm.
so I could look beyond and bust through. And that's what we want to help you with today,
We literally want to help you break
and
through.
us too, actually. on a
Okay,
few
you're
things.
absolutely right. We all together want
Yes,
to do some
because this
breakthroughs
is
here.
your biggest breakthrough.
Right, you and I were talking the other day, and we were identifying what we believe to be at least 3 of the most common stuck points
Mhm,
that we face.
mhm.
And we face these pretty much on a daily basis. So here they are. Stuck point number 1 is on-demand work life.
Yes, stuck
We'll
point.
talk about that.
Number 2
Yeah.
is social media addiction.
Ouch!
I think he's talking about me.
Okay. Number 3 stuck point is money mismanagement,
Yeah,
which leads to money problems.
right.
So let's break this down. Let's talk first about
And
on-demand.
relationship problems.
Oh, totally.
Okay.
Let's talk about on-demand work life, which simply means you are working all the time because you're always accessible and you're on demand. People
Again,
can
are you
access
talking about me?
No, I'm talking about us. But it's true. You work all the time,
Well, you think I work
except
all
when
the
you're
time.
sleeping and eating.
True, but you think I work all the time. I think it's perception, and I am accessible.
I'm going to start running a clock on you just to see whether or not you do work all the time. or not.
Micromanage. Okay, this is good.
I do too. This is seriously a problem
It has been
for
yeah.
Wendy and I, and perhaps
because we
for
love
you.
what we do, and
Yeah.
yet that isn't a green light
No.
to be fully accessible.
Sometimes that's an excuse of saying, well, I need to do this. It's the responsible thing to do. People need my help, blah, 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 blah.
So really, we're just workaholics.
That's about it.
Oh.
I mean, I hate to say that, but that can be a reality.
Wait. What if we are serve-aholics? Because
Yeah, whatever. We're on demand. That's the deal. So, okay. People can access us because we've made it easy. So have you, right? When I say us, I mean all of us who are listening too, because if you are someone
well, there's some exceptions to the rule,
Well, there
right?
would
Not
be.
all, not everybody
Okay.
listening has these
Well, that's true.
issues.
There are some who are listening who have the I'm going to say discipline. Not only a discipline, but some have the, how do I put this? It's in some ways it's an advantage where you have to leave the house at a certain time, report for duty at work at a certain time. But then you also have a certain time where the job quits and you get to go home.
You can leave it all behind.
And so, yeah, if you're in that place, wow, take advantage of it. Don't abuse it, and don't go checking, emails or making phone calls in a work-related situation.
But you know what? With the pandemic, I bet a few people are experiencing kind of what we're talking about, where there's kind of no start and stop points,
right?
On some levels.
You're checking emails while you're trying to grab a quick bite to eat in the morning, but in between putting your makeup on, you're.
Wait, are you talking about me?
No, I'm telling you, there are people I know personally who do this, and so here's the reality: that it's because we're so accessible.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There are ways in which people can reach you anytime, anywhere you are.
Oh yeah.
Because you've got a smartphone.
That's right. And if they call you and you don't answer, they're going to text you. And if you don't answer the text, they're going to reach out on social media and ping you. And if you don't respond to that, I mean,
it does not matter if you're in the middle of a date, a night out, a dinner out, and the goofy thing dings you and you see it's a work-related question. There you go. You've just interrupted an important time with your loved one.
Wait a minute. But that doesn't happen with us, does it? Or it has before.
It has. It's not chronic.
Sorry. Yeah.
But but it's true though, right? People are interrupted by. Here's what drives me crazy.
What?
I'll be in the bathroom and some guy's on the toilet talking his head off about business.
What guy is living here?
Not here in the house. I'm talking
about
like if we're out somewhere, right? Doesn't matter if it's at the airport or if it's at a restaurant.
I've heard that.
Yeah, it drives me crazy. It's like, come on, seriously? And maybe you've been that person on the toilet doing business. Stop it.
Stop it. That's just weird.
All right. So you get the idea that on-demand work life can be very addictive and very harmful to your well-being.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what we can do to overcome that. What's the breakthrough solution?
But why is it harmful? Because I don't know that everyone fully gets it. And I think I'm gonna share this really quickly because Todd and I were just out in Colorado at Winter Park, and we were had the privilege of skiing, and my son and his roommate came and met us, and I was on the lift with my son, and I'm trying to capture the moments because, man, I don't know. I just want to, I feel like I don't get to spend enough time with him. So I just want to capture the moment.
Yeah.
And he said to me, Mom, could you just be present? Like, I just want to cry. And I'm thinking, well, I am present. Well, I just want to capture the moment of me being present with you.
So he was bothered because you had your phone out looking pictures.
Picture of us. And so maybe that's more what it was. But what I'm saying is even that kind of stuff is that intruding. And it was kind of an aha kind of moment. Yes, I'm trying to capture this time together, but is it taking away?
Well, obviously, yes, because your son.
Or did he just not want his picture taken?
Well, that too.
Let's get real.
Yeah. Right. So let's talk about what we can do besides throwing your phone out and trashing the computer, because that's not realistic. But there is, I think, some real valid advantages if you will literally put a start time and an end time.
Yeah.
Again, for those of you get in the car, you leave for work. Sometimes that is easier to do because of your situation, and this is what works is set up for you. But even so, many of us who are either working from home or are able to take our work with us wherever we go, we're very tempted to allow that to begin to rule our lives. And so what we're going to suggest is simply this, and it is very simple but hard to do, and that is you literally make a rule for when you're going to start and when you're going to end.
8 to 3 or 8 to 4 or 9 to 3 or whatever it is, and keep it a hard date or hard time.
Yeah. It has to be a hard stop. If you say you're going to finish your work at 5 p.m., you can't break the rule.
Right. So here's the temptation, right? And this is why you can't break the rule, because it will snowball and allow that rule to be null and void.
Yeah.
If you get a text at 5:05 and it's a pressing, project, whatever, that needs to be addressed, you have to wait until the next
Yeah.
day to address it. Like that right there almost gives me anxiety.
I hear you. I do. I hear it for all of
I'm
us.
like, wait a minute.
It can
I
really
could just hurry
be.
and knock this out.
Yeah, it's true, but you will allow others then to believe that you're accessible all the time.
Right.
But you have to start to build the habit so that others around you know, oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, we teach people how to treat us.
He knocks off work at 5 p.m. I can't get hold of him until tomorrow. I'll just have to wait.
Right.
And it's okay. I mean, it's not that big of an emergency that you're either going to lose your job. Now watch somebody lose their job because they didn't answer a text.
Well, you're on the line, buddy.
I know. All right. Okay. So
what about wait a minute, but what if there is an emergency? Is there
Yeah, well, yes.
Okay.
You can make an exception. You just have to be discerning about how big of an emergency it really is.
Right.
Okay.
And that's where you need accountability probably,
Yeah.
because one person might decide, oh no, this is important. Where another one is like, no, that's not an emergency.
You really do. It would be very good to have somebody help you with that. If you're married, you have a spouse, then let's talk it through. Wendy and I are doing that right now. We're literally making a plan to apply these solutions for a breakthrough so that we're not always accessible. We're not workaholics. And we just don't give anymore to the addiction of on-demand life work.
Yeah.
We just don't do it.
It's good.
All right. What's the second biggest, most common addiction?
It's social media.
Say it again.
And social media.
That's right.
And we've talked about this numerous times on this podcast, but it's
why are we talking about it again then?
Because it's an issue.
Exactly. It's an issue.
And not that I'm addicted. I'm just slightly addicted.
Yeah, that's good.
And only in the sense of, I mean, I do a lot of my work there, so it keeps me on those platforms quite a bit. And so Todd doesn't necessarily know what I'm doing there. He thinks I'm probably scrolling or whatever.
You're never, ever scrolling.
No, I do scroll.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay, I thought so.
So, but I'm not always on it. But yes, let's talk about some stats.
Yeah, because the reality is we are absolutely not alone in this.
No.
The addiction to social media is worldwide.
Yeah.
Okay. So I found this from Data Portal Tracking, where they literally are tracking global social media stats. Mm-hmm. And fascinating. They really break it down. I just took a couple of the big points in this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. One of them was more than half of the world now uses social media. That's 58.4%.
Now listen to this.
Yeah.
There's only 7.8 billion people in the world.
Uh-huh. And
but over half of those, that means almost a half, what?
4.62 billion people
are using social media. That's a lot of people on social media, correct?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Now, this is really crazy too, because it's accelerating right now. 424 million new users have come online within the last 12 months. That's like almost a 500 million people are jumping on social media for the first time. So the numbers are growing.
And the ages are typically 30 to 49. Those are the biggest age group users. And it drops in half after age 50.
Which is very encouraging for those of you who are aging and get a little bit older. That is good news, because what happens is one who's getting a little older is it's just like, it's not that interesting anymore.
Okay, but here's what I do want to say.
Okay.
Especially because of the pandemic. I'm using that kind of as a crutch at the moment, but because people were addicted way before the pandemic. But it is a sense of connection. And when people have not been connecting, so there, I think there's pros and cons of social media. I think it's just all in how you manage that time around it. And that's what
So you're saying people use that to inform each other and direct message each other. So this right here that I'm holding up for those of you on YouTube watching, that's a smartphone. And here's what's really cool. It's smart phone. You literally can talk on this thing. It's amazing. Why not a phone call instead of just texting or social media direct messaging?
Because it can sometimes take longer.
Good. Then you can develop a deeper relationship.
Yes, that's very good.
Here, get this. The average daily usage of social media. Anybody want to take a guess? What do you think, an hour and a half? 2 hours and 27 minutes every day. 2 hours and 27 minutes is the average amount of time people use social media.
Yeah. And I would expect it to be a lot more for some people, especially when they have their business on there.
That's true.
On social media.
Now, let's see. Isn't there a little thing within, like, for example, Facebook that
I think it's actually on, it's either on the iPhone or anyway, it actually tells you how long you're spending on social media sites, your screen time, actually.
Do you want to do that right now?
Yeah, there you go, right there. Just
Screen time.
Screen time. What do you got?
Get your phone out. Screen time.
Oh, you're 36. Wait a minute.
What? No way.
I love it.
I do not believe this.
Ha
This is from last week.
Okay.
I had a daily average of 2 hours and 47 minutes. Really? I exceeded the global average. I don't have no idea.
Well,
you were using my phone, weren't you?
No, I was
You were
not.
using my phone because I'm not on social media.
No, do you want to hear what mine is?
What? Oh.
4 hours, 21 minutes.
Oh, all right. Is this a problem?
But wait a minute.
Is this a problem?
This is the daily average, but here's the deal.
Okay.
Again, a lot of my business,
it's true.
I'm working through social media. So
all right, I want to challenge our listeners right now. For those of you who have an iPhone, I don't know what it is on Androids, but just scroll over there, go to your settings and just check out screen time.
But then
see where you're at.
Remember, I do emails from here. It's not just social media.
That's
so
true.
There are app limits. You can set, it says set time limits for apps. So you can actually click on that and add a limit for particular apps.
That is cool. Now let's just talk a little bit about the result of this being such a time suck.
But hang on, before we do that,
okay,
I really have to acknowledge that I check my emails from here because this is like my computer too. So how long were you on your computer?
Probably a couple minutes.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Screen time is through the roof.
Yeah.
And it ain't good for us.
No, it ain't.
No. Now listen, it's a time suck. And you know it because there is not everybody is working, doing emails on your screens or using social media for work. Some of you, yes, but most of us, no. It's a form of entertainment more than anything else.
Right.
So here's the question: because it's such a big time suck, on average 2.5 hours, what would happen like if there was no social media? Just for a moment, just use your imagination. No social media. What could you do with that additional 2.5 hours?
But it may not be it's saying that the average person.
What would you do with the extra 2.5 hours? I mean, think about that.
Now, don't say watch a movie because you're going to be on a screen.
Maybe
that's
you need
a
to
bad
watch
idea.
A movie and chill out.
No.
Maybe you could exercise.
Maybe they're watching a movie on their screen, on their smartphone. That's the problem.
Listen, you could go visit a friend.
Yes.
You could spend more time with the kids.
Yes. 100%.
With your spouse. You could read. Wait a minute.
Read.
They still print books with pages.
Yes,
you can read books,
turn them
without having to do it on screen. All right. I know I'm getting a little carried away about this, but I think
it's
all
a hot
of us,
button. It's a hot button right now.
The other thing about it is they're just like there are these intrusive interruptions because of notifications and stuff that comes up and you just get distracted. I have watched my wife.
Okay. Why do I feel like this is?
No, and it's true. Most of the time it's work, but I watch her like she's going upstairs and she stops in the middle of the stairs, turns around, sits down, and she'll spend 15 minutes on her phone. Working, I guess.
Exactly.
Or I've seen you stand by the bathtub for 10 minutes, just like doing your stuff on the phone.
You know,
so there are interruptions and distractions that kind of get us off track.
What I do is portable. Like I can work from anywhere. Yeah. Well, isn't that the beautiful flexibility?
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. But you get the point. It can be very intrusive. You know, you can be on your knees praying and ding, you get a notification. No. Well, it's true.
I know, but that doesn't happen to me.
Not to you.
No. But that
happened
could
to me,
happen.
actually. All right. So here's an idea for you.
Okay. What's the idea?
For a breakthrough solution to this. You're not going to like this, but you need to eliminate some of the platforms that you're on.
Forget it. I'm not doing it.
Look, if these platforms don't serve you, what in the world are you doing with them on your phone as added distractions? Do you realize right now there are 17 major platforms that people are using globally? Now, I believe you only need 3. It's like make a decision, pick 3. For you, maybe it's YouTube, WhatsApp, and Facebook.
WhatsApp.
That's actually a platform.
I know, but it's
not. Well, I'm just saying, pick 3. Okay, that is one way to eliminate the addiction to social media because you just narrowed the playing field.
Or what's better yet is you just hire somebody to do your social media for you.
My goodness,
and then you're not really on it. It just looks like you're on it.
If you need it for work,
which I'm not doing.
That's a great idea. How about another solution?
Yeah, another solution actually would be to chunk out just small little windows where you really are intentionally on social media and just attacking it. Like, okay, I'm going to go through and see what my family and friends are doing and make sure everybody's okay. Cause a lot of times it is about connection. It is about checking in. Or, with your clients or whatever, spend like a 10-minute in the morning, 10-minute in the afternoon, and 10-minute in the evening, or 15, 15, 15. That will still reduce the time spent by an hour and 45 to 2 hours every day. So imagine what you can do with that. Imagine how you will strengthen your relationships. You can serve more in your community, all those things. It frees up time. I mean, my goodness, maybe you can go for that walk that you need to be going on.
But the reality is, because of our smartphones with us all the time, they are constantly going off.
Although we do want you to listen to this podcast while you're on your smartphone, taking that walk.
Or driving to work or whatever, or taking a walk.
Yes.
But so there's a real simple solution to constantly being interrupted. Is just turn off the notifications.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, right now, make a decision. I'm going to turn off the notifications because I don't need to be constantly notified. And I don't need to be buzzed. I don't need to be distracted. I don't need to be bugged.
Okay. Well, I will keep mine on for certain platforms because, again, it's my business. I'm communicating with my clients that
way. Would there
way.
be maybe at least one of the platforms you could turn notifications?
I bet I could turn off, 4 or 5.
Okay.
Even like some of the apps that I have that I didn't realize had notifications. Go in your settings and start turning them off, and that I will definitely do.
Yeah. And I just want to back up for a minute too, because I really think that if we get disciplined in setting a time every day to check social media, we're gonna break through this addiction. So like you said, you could pick 3 times a day, limit it to 10 to 15 minutes during those 3 times.
And set your alarm because it's easy to get sidetracked down the rabbit trail.
I'm telling you, when you and I do this, because you and I are going to do this.
You hear this, people?
We're going to keep each other accountable.
So
are
you're our
listeners.
accountability buddies too. So we hope we can challenge you in the space too before we go today.
The third most common stuck point for most of us is
money mismanagement.
So I mean, the number one problem that it causes is that causes that problem is that we just simply don't know our numbers.
Right.
We don't know what's going on. Like we don't have a budget. Oh, you hate that word budget. It's so restrictive.
It's kind of like discipline and obedience.
Yeah. It sounds terrible to me. Well, you need to at least know how much is coming in and how much is going out.
Absolutely.
If you don't, you're going to end up with problems, money problems.
Big time.
And yes, big time. Because we all know, we can all give our own stories about the problems that have been caused from money mismanagement.
Yeah.
My dad used to say, son, if you ain't got it, you can't spend it. And isn't that the truth? Why? Because it'll lead to debt.
Because money doesn't grow on trees.
Well, there you go. That's true.
That's what I was always told.
Right. Well, the reality is that this leads to debt.
Yep.
And debt is an unbelievable problem, especially here in our nation.
It causes a lot of stress, and it actually causes a lot of problems within relationships and confidence and all kinds of things. But from Ramsey Solutions,
that's Dave Ramsey.
Dave Ramsey. Yeah. This was published in October 2021. It says the total personal debt in the U.S. is at an all-time high. Are you ready for this?
No.
14.96 trillion. And the average American debt per person, this is not per couple, but per
US
person,
adult.
is $58,600. And 77% of American households have at least some type of debt equaling $158,609.
Yeah, the average credit card debt per household is $14,241. And the interest rates on those run anywhere between 15 to 25%.
Yeah,
we don't realize how much that is killing us when it comes to
it is. You
money
think you're paying
management.
it off, and you're just.
So, we know just from experience, right? The problems money mismanagement can cause.
Yeah.
So let's just remind ourselves again of some of the things that happen to us when we've got money problems, because we have mental and physical problems that result from debt and money problems.
Yeah. And speaking of, physical problems, I mean, chronic stress, it affects your heart. It affects your blood pressure. It disrupts your sleep patterns. I mean, you're stressing, you're tossing, you're turning, you're not getting good sleep, lowers your immune system, And then of course, it creates all kinds of problems with relationships, and it can be a wedge in a marriage. It can cause divorce. I mean, just all kinds of things. It can increase your dependence on
substances.
Like alcohol or drugs or pornography or overspending, even because you're so like whatever.
You want to numb yourself.
You numb. It's about numbing. Yeah, it's really sad.
I read this morning too. I should have got the statistics from it, but just the mental health problems that develop because of money issues. That literally people, and then when you have mental health problems, it starts to compound, and that causes you to have even more difficulty in managing your money.
And then you go on social media and you start sharing all those problems out loud to people. Please don't do that. Please don't do that.
All right, let's talk about some breakthrough solutions here, because this affects all of us. And so obviously the number one thing is know your numbers.
Know your numbers. Yep. Coming and going.
You literally take inventory of what you have and how much you spend.
And it's not always fun to do. I mean, to put everything in QuickBooks or however you're doing it, it's not always fun in the beginning. But once you have a really good, solid understanding of like, oh, okay, I'm spending X amount of dollars here. I had no idea. So I can tighten this up and shift and reallocate, dollars to go where maybe you really want it to go, to tithing or, something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, there are lots of apps out there to be able to use, or QuickBooks, or any of these, even just many of your banks are sort of graphing out what you're spending in different areas.
Yeah.
Now I'm taking this one very seriously. Okay. I generally speaking, I've been pretty good with money because I never had very much. So you had to really learn how to budget it. So when I got into a position of having more, I didn't pay as close attention anymore to all the little nickels and dimes that were going out the door.
You got loosey-goosey.
I got loosey-goosey. Mm-hmm. And so to my somewhat embarrassment, I haven't done a great job of drilling down on the specifics. And so I've committed to Wendy, to myself first, that I'm going to know the numbers really, really well. I'm going to go back through QuickBooks and the bank and credit cards. I'm going to put it all together to see exactly what is going out in which area and where we can make adjustments.
Because we know that if we can find extra, then we can tithe and give it to we can give more, right? And so that's important to us. And so if that's important to you as well, it might be an opportunity for things to shift and be reallocated. And so we're pretty excited about that.
Yeah, we are. And I'm encouraging you to get excited about it too. It doesn't have to be a big mental stress headache anymore. It doesn't have to cause you health problems. You may be in a big hole right now, but there are ways to get out. And you can get help just like that. You can go onto Ramsey Solutions, Financial Peace University. You can take an online course. You can join a group that's in a local church somewhere in your neighborhood.
Yeah, I did that years ago.
Yeah, and you can walk through this thing in very practical ways. I know people who go through this Financial Peace University course. And they get so excited. No, I'm serious.
No,
What? They're at peace.
They're at peace.
Well, that's reminded me of that. Exactly. Very good, Wendy.
Yes.
But they literally get giddy with excitement when they see the debts start to shrink, the income start to grow.
Yep.
Things begin to make sense.
They have their
the
envelopes.
Pressure comes off.
They're spending envelopes.
Cash envelope. I don't know if he's still doing that, but
I don't know.
I mean, the point is there is help there for you. You can't make the excuse of I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's practical.
There's also one other you may not have heard of, Mr. Money Mustache.
I've never heard.
That's a little weird, I know, but he is great. Mr.
How's
Money
his mustache?
Mr. Money Mustache. There's a story behind that. You got to go online to find it.
Okay, I have to check that out.
But here's what's really cool. You will learn to get by on a lot less and still live really well. And he's living proof. He'll show you how to do that.
Really? So he's like a minimalist, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. He retired at age 30.
No.
I'm not kidding.
Okay,
and he's going to tell you how.
That's
Mr.
awesome.
Money Mustache. Here's one other solution. Find somebody that you know who you believe is really managing money well. You go, man, she really knows what she's doing with money. That was my mom, by the way.
But you actually do manage money really, really well.
Yes.
So the fact that we're going in and tightening things up, it's only.
But I'm talking about those who have a hard time with that. Because some of you listening is like, okay, I don't know how to go about that. Maybe I need to go to Ramsey. But here's another solution. Find a person who's managing their money well.
Yeah, it could be a friend, could be someone at church.
And start to model after them. Talk to them and say, how do you do it? And I promise you, they'll be so glad to be able to share it with you. And then ask them, would you help me? Would you help me, stay accountable to
Well,
this?
and a lot of people actually have come to you to help them with their money situation.
And
You're
I love
very
it.
good at it.
I love it, but we can always get better at it.
Yes.
Because these are things we want to break through, right? To get better at and to grow so that, why?
So that we can build the kingdom.
Yes, we live better lives. We honor God. We help others.
Yes,
All
yes,
right.
yes. So, all in unison. So that's very good. We hope this podcast is entertaining, but also educational.
Yeah, because we're not finished yet.
Because we have some breakthroughs that we hope are possible for you as well.
Well,
and what?
No, I was going to say, a lot of people think, that all sounds good. I'd like to do that, but I'm just not sure. Yeah, and so Wendy and I believe breakthrough is possible, but here's some things that are required of you.
You have to acknowledge the problem.
Yeah, you got to be honest.
You got to be authentic and say, listen, I am so stuck. I don't even know which way is up. And it's humbling. It's hard. I've done it. Yeah. It's not fun in the beginning, but I promise in the end, you feel so much better. You have confidence. You understand where your money's going or where your time is going or whatever. And you can start to change things around so that you do have that peace and you do have that joy. And because all this stuff really snuffs out that joy and that peace that we really are God designed for us to have.
Exactly. Right? You're so right. I mean, that sounds simple, but that is a starting point. You got to look in the mirror and you got to acknowledge, you got to take inventory of the problems and just say, okay, I'm going after this. I'm not going to live under the tyranny anymore of this stuff that I'm addicted to.
Right. So hi, my name is Wendy Pett and I sit on the stairs and check social media. So yeah, I'm going to be honest.
All right. Well, me too. I'm looking right at me in the camera here saying, Todd, get with it, buddy.
Yeah.
All right. Number 2, you have to make a decision. And to make a decision, your why has to be big enough. Like, why do you really, truly want to break through in this area? And I think you mentioned a number of reasons. You want more peace. You want less stress. You want a greater impact in the kingdom. So get a strong why, because it's going to motivate you. Just ask yourself, how am I going to benefit if I break through this problem?
Yeah.
You start listing all the things and ways you're going to benefit, you'll start getting motivated.
That's very true. That's very true.
But you can't leave it just there.
No, you have to make a plan and you have to take action every day. And you got to get some help. You've got to get accountability because we all have great intentions. And,
wait a minute. That just reminds me.
What?
Sister Marguerite in the 6th grade would say, great intentions pave the way to hell.
Oh, nice.
She was very direct on that. That's in my head. It'll never go away.
Did she slap your hand with a ruler too?
Not that one. The 4th grade teacher did that.
Oh, she did? Yeah. Oh, my word. Anyway, we have to make a plan, take action daily and get help and not feel shame or whatever around that, because those icky feelings don't help the situation. Right. And I know they're triggers. I know I've been there. I have felt kind of those because we all have maybe past emotions around some of these areas, whether it's
good point.
So we have to get past the emotion around it and get to the reality of what's going on and how can I make it better? And who do I trust that I can bring in to hold me accountable to change?
Yes, that is a key component of success in all of this. And that is to be accountable to another person or a group. You could do it, with a Financial Peace University group. You could do it with a Bible study group. You could do it with somebody at work. You could do it with a family member.
And you have your men's groups.
Yeah. So there are ways you can be held accountable if you'll just walk through these steps where you acknowledge the problem, you make a decision for the breakthrough, you make a plan, you take action, you get accountability. Like Wendy and I are literally holding each other accountable on this. And
it's not always easy with your spouse.
It's not. Because, that can lead to tension and then disagreement. And then before you know it, you're like, she doesn't get it. He doesn't understand.
But we have made a commitment to honor one another in the accountability process and to be gentle and kind through it and yet stern and loving.
Absolutely.
Because we both want to get better in all areas of our life. And we all continue to grow. I mean, if you don't, then you're stuck, right? And we want to continue to grow until the day we die. So there's always an area we can get better in. So let's have a little challenge.
Well, here's the deal. We can talk about this till the cows come home, right? But unless we actually do something about it.
I'm all about sound effects today.
Oh my goodness. How about a 30-day challenge?
How about it?
You and I talked about that earlier and said, if we're really going to make this thing work, we literally have to set up a 30-day challenge to track how we're doing in each one of these 3 areas.
Yes. And for, a habit to become sticky, you need repetition.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what does it look like?
Well, first off,
I'm always so antsy. Let's go.
I know it's just not you and me challenging each other.
No,
we are challenging them. We're challenging you, listener. Listen.
Let's all do this together.
Listen now.
Listener, listen.
You are being challenged to work on this breakthrough for 30 days where you will do something every single day in each one of these 3 areas for your breakthrough that will lead to a lifetime of happiness, fulfillment,
joy, peace,
freedom.
Yes. Yes. I love it. I love it. Okay.
So what do we do in the challenge? Let's get real practical, real literal. And we've given you breakthrough solutions.
Yeah. So what we want to do is, starting out, the very first thing on demand work life.
Yeah.
Just very practical. Pick a start time and an end time.
Yeah.
And shut down your computer. I mean, literally shut it down, put it in a drawer, lock the drawer, shut the closet, lock it, whatever you got to do. I don't know, but a start and end time. And I might have to lock it.
Well, I'll help you.
Okay. I'm sure you already have the
same thing for me.
But
listen, because of these smartphones, it's right there, very accessible. I have a friend who turned off his mail. He said, I can't have it on because I'm too tempted to go to it all the time. So make the decision of what your finish time is going to be and do not violate it. And then listen, just check it off every day, how you did.
Yeah.
And when you fail on it, just admit it and say, okay, that was today. Tomorrow's a new day. I'm going to go after this. I'm going to stick with my finish time no matter what.
Yeah, that's good. And social media with that. Now, I did a 40-day social media fast.
Yeah. And
it was one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Are you suggesting that we're going to?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, no.
what
I am suggesting.
What's the challenge?
The challenge is to spend 10 or 15-minute windows 3 times a day to check your social media and then be done with it for 30 minutes. I mean, for 30 days. But it might be 30 minutes. It might be more like, 45 minutes. So it's 15,
pick
15,
your time.
15. Pick your time, stick to it, and then shut it down.
Yeah. And then listen, check yourself. And again, for each day you go through this, you literally want to check the box. All right, I did it. I shut it down. I was tempted to go beyond that, but I stuck with my 30-minute window or for my 45-minute window.
And you know what you might find is that as you're doing this in the 30-day window, you might find, you know what, I'm really not missing social media, and it gets less and less.
Yeah.
I just talked to a girlfriend of mine, and she was doing a 40-day sugar fast or detox, whatever. And she said, you know what? I actually haven't been on social media either. I'm doing this sugar fast, and yet I'm also fasting from social media. So how interesting is that? So maybe when you're kind of adjusting with your social media, maybe you'll adjust with your nutritional habits too. How about that?
Side benefit, big time.
That would be.
Very cool.
Yeah.
How about the money mismanagement? What's our challenge to you? What's our challenge for us? And what's our challenge for our listeners?
Well, that would be, I have to look at my list here. Know your numbers.
That's it. Just take some time and literally go through everything as detailed as you can to find out exactly how much is coming in and how much is going out. And then reevaluate where there are areas where you can stop the bleeding, stop the hemorrhaging, get rid of the credit cards. Now, along with that, you're going to probably need some help.
Yeah.
So the second part of this challenge is go get the help. Go to Ramsey Solutions, Financial Peace University, go over to Mr. Money Mustache, go to a friend, but don't try to do this all alone.
Yeah.
Get some help and stay accountable.
And listen, you may already know your numbers, but you want to tighten them up. You have a certain goal in mind.
Yeah.
And so in order to reach that goal, you might need some accountability in that space. So even if you know your numbers, you're not off the hook. You can still do this 30-day challenge, okay? Because we want you to tighten it up and see where you can get creative with your spending and pour more into the kingdom.
Now, listen, we don't want to be sort of parental in this whole podcast, right? Because Wendy and I are talking to Wendy and I. We're talking to each other, and we're including you in the conversation because we believe these are pretty common problems.
I have been through a bankruptcy back in the day. I have lost my home back in the day. I have been on food stamps back in the day.
Yeah.
And look, someone's at our door. They want to join the podcast. Anyway,
all right. So
we hope that this helps.
There's the challenge. Yeah. Wendy and I are going to do another podcast.
Yes.
In 30 days and let you know exactly where we're at. and hoping you'll join us in this challenge.
Yes, we want to hear your comments. We want you to, respond on YouTube if you're watching this, or on any other social media during your 10-minute window. Comment.
There you go. That's good, honey. That's exactly right. We're going to stick with it. We are going to stick with this.
Yes, we are. But thank you so very much for joining us on Your Biggest Breakthrough. We appreciate you. We're so excited to be back in the groove and producing more podcasts for you. So thanks for sharing this podcast as well. And we will catch you next time on Your Biggest Breakthrough. Take care.
So glad you could join us today, and you'll find a new episode every Tuesday on your favorite podcast platform.
And if you've been encouraged by listening or viewing, would you just take a moment and give us a 5-star rating and a quick review? That'd be so awesome.
Yeah, and also please share this with your friends and loved ones.
If you have comments or questions, or if you're looking for an advertising opportunity, please get in touch with us at yourbiggestbreakthrough.com.
Or if you'd like to optimize your health and wellness, you can work directly with Wendy. Go to wendypet.com.
Or if you're a guy and you're interested in mentoring and coaching, go to toddisburner.com. We look forward to having you join us on our next episode of Your Biggest Breakthrough.